Hello boys and girls, welcome to the second part of Figures of Speech of English. We had discussed the basic concepts, its purpose and some figures of speech in the last session. We did alliteration, simile, metaphor, personification and hyperbole, which are most commonly used and can be identified very easily. We will do some more in this session. But first, let's have a revision of what we did. Before we move forward, let us take a look back of what we did in the last session. In the last session, we discussed the concepts of figures of speech, its use, types, and types of figures of speech which are most commonly used. We found that figure of speech is not only a part of literature or poetry, but also in our daily life. At first, understood alliteration, that it is the repetition of consonant sounds in a statement or poetry. We also understood that simile is used to compare two unlike things with the use of words like or as. Example, he is as strong as titanium. Here the person is compared to titanium for his strength. Then we understood metaphor. Metaphor is an implied simile, where two things are not only compared, but one thing is imposed on the other. In other words, a thing is taken to be something else. For example, my love is a red rose. Here, my love is not compared to red rose, but it is said that my love is actually red rose. After simile and metaphor, we also learned about personification. Personification is a figure of speech where an inanimate object is treated as a human being. For example, books are our best friends. Here, books are not treated as an object, but friends, that is, human beings. At last, we had a discussion on hyperbole. When we exaggerate on something, we use hyperbole. For instance, I don't know his whereabouts. I haven't seen him for ages. The terms ages here means a long time, not exactly ages. Now we will see some more figures of speech which are abundantly in different areas of literature and our day-to-day life. Today we will first do the irony. Irony is a figure of speech in which there is a contradiction of expectation between what is said and what is really meant. It is characterized by an incongruity, a contrast between reality and appearance. There are three types of irony: verbal, dramatic, and situational. For example, we have a piece of poetry from the Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. In the last lines, the poet is saying that everywhere there is water, but not a single drop of water can be used to drink. He is actually talking about the seas. So this is irony. Water is normally characterized as something that gives life, which is used for drinking. But seawater is not actually used for drinking or other purposes. So there is irony here. Another very famous example is from Act 3, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar, where Mark Antony is giving a speech on Julius Caesar's cremation. Now we have onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the use of words that imitate the sounds associated with the objects or actions they refer to, such as hiss or murmur. It can also include made-up words or simply a series of letters, such as zzz, to represent a person sleeping or snoring. Here are some examples: chug, 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 puff, 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 ding dong, the little train tumbled over the tracks. Here is another example of onomatopoeia by John Prine. Bang went the pistol, crash went the window, ouch went the son of a gun. Onomatopoeia, I don't see ya, speaking in a foreign tongue. Here, the words like bang, crash, ouch actually represent a sound, not the actual meanings. So they are the representatives of onomatopoeia in the poetry. Now we have pun. Pun is a play on words, either on different senses of the same word or on the similar sense or sound of different words, known in rhetoric as paranamnesia. Puns are figure speech based on inherent ambiguities of language. Although puns are commonly regarded as a childish form of humor, they are often found in advertisements and newspaper headlines. Poet Lewis said that punning is like poetry, something every person belittles and every person attempts. Here are some examples. "The Nile ain't just a river in Egypt" by Mark Twain. "Hanging is too good for a man who makes puns. He should be drawn and quoted" by Fred Allen. "Time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana" by Groucho Marx. Here, words are not the representatives of what they mean, though it is pun. It is actually used as a humor or a joke mostly in our daily life. Now we have oxymoron. An oxymoron is a figure of speech, usually one or two words in which seemingly contradictory terms appear side by side. This contradiction is also known as a paradox. Writers and poets have used it for centuries as a literary device to describe life's inherent conflicts. In speech, oxymorons can lend a sense of humor, irony, or sarcasm. Here are some examples. "Act naturally," "alone together," "amazingly awful," "bittersweet," "clearly confused," "dark light," "deafening silence," "definitely maybe." In all these examples, we have one thing common, that two opposite things or ideas are coming together. Then, in this case, this is oxymoron. Now we have paradox. A paradox is a figure of speech in which a statement appears to contradict itself. This type of statement can be described as paradoxical. A compressed paradox comprised of just a few words is called oxymoron. For example, "I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only more love" by Mother Teresa. Another statement is by George Orwell. "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is truth." Paradoxically, though it may seem, it is none less than true that life imitates at far more than art imitates life by Oscar Wilde. Someday you will be old enough to start reading fairy tales again. Another very famous by Charles Dickens is "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." In these statements, two contradictory ideas appear together in a statement. In this way, they contradict themselves. Then it is paradox. After paradox, we have litotes. Litotes is an understatement in which a positive statement is expressed by negating its opposite. This sounds like a strange definition, but a few examples will make the meaning clear. The classical example of litotes is the phrase "not bad." By negating the word bad, you are saying that something is good or at least okay. However, in most contexts, it's an understatement. For example, "not bad, not bad at all." The idea is that someone is actually pretty excited about something, that they think it's not better than just not bad. Another example, "I am no ordinary candidate and you are not too bad to yourselves." Other examples are, "But though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head grow slightly bald, brought it in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter." It was by T.S. Eliot, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. So this was litotes. So this marks the ending of this session. I think it was useful for you and you must have learned something interesting and more about figures of speech. We will do the next parts of speech, the parts of figures of speech in the next session. It is not so complicated, it is very interesting, but there are some very confusing ones. We will discuss them in the next session. Till then, take care. Goodbye.